What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the Touchdown Podcast, the TD Podcast. We're your hosts, Dak and Tony and Dak, and today we are continuing our record predictions for the upcoming NFL season, and today we're focusing on the NFC. Earlier this week, we did the AFC. It actually went live today, quote unquote, as in Tuesday. If you haven't watched that already, pause the video, go watch that one, and then come back, because that one is my favorite team. This one is his favorite team, being the Raiders and the 49ers. Ignore the jersey. I wanted to put a jersey on. I know the Jags have nothing to do with today's episode. I digress.
Since you're wearing a Jags uniform, I do want to tell the audience out there that we as we were talking about the Jags yesterday, I don't think people realize they're not just young themselves, team players wise. They're pretty young as head coaches and general manager. I believe the general manager is like 29 or
Duval.
34 years old. The head coach is like
James
34
Gladstone.
years old.
Liam Cohen.
So like they're pretty darn young. To say the least. The whole team is out there,
Mm-hmm.
but also, um, if you still haven't went and switched to the other episode, Ant went on a he wasn't sane yesterday when
Oh,
we
believe me,
recorded
it
that.
continues today.
Go listen to that. Go
Yeah.
watch it.
You want some more
You'll be
hot takes?
intrigued.
Stick around, because we had. Now, I'll do the same preface that I did on the last episode that I'll do today again today. So, things to remember with our predictions was the schedule, home and away games, and try to be realistic. That may have gone out the window. Just let you know.
Was not realistic yesterday.
No, it was not. Now, one other thing I'll preface is this was the first time I used this website. Um, there is a website where you can go week by week and choose the winners and losers of each game, and then that obviously tallies up all the records that you had from out that season. With that, I went a little bit overboard, and I continued to go overboard with the NFC. So let's dive into the ridiculousness. Me and Dak flipped scripts a little bit in terms of our hot takes. Typically, he's the one with a little bit of toasty takes, but the records is sticking with me. We're gonna start with the NFC North, and like last episode, we will go from fourth to first based on our own records. So as we list off these teams, we will list their position in their division, what we think their record will be, and the win over unders per ESPN, because we are both betting men, especially when it comes to football for me. So I will be keeping an eye on these over unders quite a bit, and I may be placing some lines here soon. So yeah, without further ado,
I already did.
Dak, do you want me to start or you want to start?
NFC North, correct?
Yeah, NFC North. So Packers,
Um,
Vikings,
I
Bears, and Lions.
believe, I would hope and pray that we both have the fourth team the same here. I have the Bears going 5-12.
No, we do not.
Bears. Oh, okay. The Bears, their over under, I believe, is
Their over
eight and a
under
half.
is
8.5.
8.5. Yeah.
I am hammering the under. I just, I don't, I don't know if the offensive line is really what we're thinking it's going to be.
Mm.
I know we improved it, but still, Caleb Williams is not getting the ball out. And you got some older guys on the offensive side. If Caleb Williams can't get the ball out within 3 seconds, then what are we doing with that offensive line here?
Yeah. Okay, that's a solid take. I get that. Um, my number four. So, if we go all the way back to there we go. If we go all the way back to our divisional rankings episode, we will remember that the AFC West and the NFC North were two highest ranked, 1 and 2 or 2 and 1, depends on who you are. In that episode, we mentioned how close these two divisions are, and again how high powered they are. I kept that into perspective quite a bit.
No, you probably went too high with that. And let me guess, you have 4 10 win 10 plus 10, 4 10 plus win winning teams in this division.
I sure do. And at the
Yeah,
bottom,
that's
so
wild.
placing fourth, we have the Lions at 11-6. Um, again, so yeah, their over under. Just listen, their over under is 10.5. I'm staying as far away from this line as humanly possible. Let's not forget they lost both their offensive and defensive coordinator this offseason. That's a lot. That's a lot. You can play the whole, oh, that's a terrible take. They're still a double digit win team. Starters. For two, they're still making the playoffs, probably. If not, they're missing by the skin of their teeth. And for three, 11-6 as a team that lost both their coordinators is insane. Not to mention their
I
primary
agree.
pass rusher
I
still
agree
out.
with the record here. I agreed with the 11-6 record. I
Their
think that
primary
could
pass
happen,
rusher still out too.
but Aiden Hutchinson is back. He's released. He's
Yeah,
practicing now.
but that's still scary. It's still scary. And let's not forget either, their offensive line is now older. Also, not that Panay Sewell's not still a dog, because he is. And outside of Aiden Hutchinson, Alex Anzalone and Jack Campbell are good. Terry and Arnold has some more stuff to prove. Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph are solid. But that's a
This team is
it's a hard division
this
to
team
be
is a
in.
whole lot better than the Bears. The Bears are not that good.
It's a hard division to be in. And I
Lions at 4 is insane. I have
listen,
the
that's what we got.
I have the Vikings at 3, going 7-10.
Mm,
The over under for the Vikings this year is 8.5 as
it is also
well.
8.5.
Last season their over and under was at 6.5, and I think that's a more realistic number this year for this group.
Mm.
Um, you have a quarterback that hasn't played a snap in a regular season in the NFL, um, and you have a tough schedule. You play in one of the best divisions in football. I I don't know if you can take that roster farther than what they took that roster last year. I think last year's team was the best possible way anything could have gone for the Vikings, and there's no way they can do that and replicate that again with this team. So I have the Vikings at 7-10, 3-3 in the conference or in the division, and 5-7 in the conference.
So my third place team is the Bears at 11-6. Their line is 8.5. Let's not forget they beefed up their O line and added Luther Burden, so their receiving core is absolutely nuts. Starters, and for two, or for
They're
three,
young. They haven't proved much.
for three, Ben Johnson is now their head coach. They're not piddly dicking around with Waldron or whoever else they all brought in. They're not screwing around anymore. They got Caleb Williams, a real coach. I mean, if you remember a couple weeks ago, that when that report came out that he was trying to get out of Chicago, it also came out that he was the only one watching film. Like the coaches just kind of left him out to dry.
Yeah, he
That's not
was not
happening with
told
Ben Johnson.
what kind of film he should have been watching.
Exactly. That's not how you coach your rookie quarterback. That's not how you coach your number one receiver or number one pick. Sorry. So they get real. Their defense is still nuts. Let's not forget that. Don't wince at that. It's nuts. If they can stay healthy, they're nuts. They're absolutely insane. Believe me, all I hear about it is the Bears because my shift lead is a Bears fan, and I'm gonna drop kick him if he doesn't talk to me about this episode in a couple days. But yeah, they beefed up their O line, which was their biggest problem, and they added another receiver. It's also giving Rome Odunze a full off season to put on some muscle because he was a little bit of a slim figure, and that's scary to do, especially when you're a slot receiver. So who knows what they're actually going to do. But now with a real offensive mind in their front office, I trust the Bears to actually get the over at 8.5. Similar. So in last episode, we also mentioned some of the over and unders we're going to hammer, and some of them we're going to stay away from. I'm staying away from all of the NFC North. Probably. We'll get to the next two teams. Well, I guess the next team Well, the last team being the Packers, but so my next team
Big, yeah.
is
Go
the
ahead.
Vikings at 12-5, 8.5 line. Um, so I mentioned in the last episode, I don't remember if I said it yet today. Um, I got a little bit carried away with these rankings, with these records. I do think they're going to be close, but I don't think they're going to be exact, right? Because later in the episode, you're gonna have a big reaction to one of them, at least one. Um,
Gosh.
it gets a little crazy, but you just gotta hang in, strap in, because it gets a little crazy. But yeah, the Vikings are 12-5. I don't know if that's actually how it's gonna go because AJ McCarthy, like you mentioned, hasn't played a real NFL snap yet. But I do think that that defense can carry them. Brian Flores is a defensive genius, and they lost Cam Bynum, but they're
Colts.
they're still good. Still have a good defense,
Um,
and uh,
Speaking of good
Kevin
defenses,
O'Connell. Kevin O'Connell also is smart as well, and I trust
speaking
JJ
of good,
McCarthy. Take next
I
step.
do not trust JJ McCarthy.
And they fixed their
But speaking
offensive
of good,
line. Their interior offensive line is good now, or better now,
yeah, Vikings do
which
have a
was
good
important
defense or good O
because
line.
Sam Darnold was not
Um,
having that.
you know who doesn't have a as good of a defense as they did last year?
The Packers.
The Green Bay Packers. Um, the Packers, Jair Alexander's trying to get a deal done. Xavier McKinney, two guys that helped that defense be everything that they were last year. Um, so I have the Packers going 12-5, 3-3 in the division, 8-4 in conference play. The Packers are 9.5 wins. I am hammering that over just because
Mm-hmm.
I have full trust in that offense.
Yeah.
And the defense is going to be fine. And you play in Lambeau, so you're not getting 50 uh, points scored on you in Lambeau.
Yeah.
That's
Highly
just going to be hard
unlikely.
to happen. So offense is going to be one of the best in football, and I have the Packers as the fifth seed going into the playoffs.
Yeah. The only thing with their offense is they're like receivers. They have a lot of really good receivers, but do any of them really stick out as a number one? Christian Watson's hurt now. We don't know when he's coming back. Jaden
It'll
Reed,
probably be like week 11.
Matthew Golden, and Romeo Dobbs, they're all good, but who's the number one really?
Yeah,
Uh,
they don't need a number one.
I know. Well, yeah, I know. I don't remember which one. I'm assuming it's Jaden Reed. Said had something coming out this offseason.
Doesn't Dontavian Wicks play there as well?
Dontavian Wicks is down. He's there, but he's like number sixth on their but on their depth chart. But it doesn't matter when you have Josh Jacobs in the backfield too, who's gonna tear it up. So yeah.
Fair.
Um,
Fair.
but while they did lose some players, and Jair Alexander's doing whatever the heck he's doing, they did add Nate Hobbs, who is a solid player. I can attest. As long as he can stay on the field, he is very solid. And Xavier McKinney is still a dog too. So I think they're pretty safe in the top two of their division. Um, and they are my number one at 12-5. Again, hammering the 9.5 over. They won 11 games last year. I don't think they're gonna go under that. Um, so yeah,
Last year, you got to remember, last year Jordan Love was out like the first
yeah,
week 2 to like week 5.
mm-hmm.
So he got hurt in the Brazil game last year. So I don't think that's going to happen again this year. Packers hammer the over at
Mm-hmm.
nine
Nine
and
and
a
a half.
half.
Yep.
But my number one is the Detroit Lions. I think they go 13-4, 5-1 in the division, and 12-2 in the conference. Um, the Lions, they're getting healthy. And I think last year they struggled with that
Mm-hmm.
department of healthiness.
Both sides.
I think you get healthy. Jameer Gibbs is one of the best backs in the league. And then I think Armand St. Brown is or not? Is it Armand
Amon Ra,
St. Brown?
St.
Yeah,
Brown,
Amon Ra.
like the
Amon
Egyptian
Ra
god.
St. Brown is one of the most underrated receivers in the NFL. So that being said, I like them going what I say, 13-4,
Mm-hmm.
and I believe I have them as my second seed in the playoffs. Um, yeah, second seed, either second or third seed in the playoffs, going from the NFC North. And again, if you guys see me looking towards the right, I
Because he's
am
watching the
looking at the
Pacers like
Pacers
a
game.
bomb.
The Pacers are currently up 8 right now. So if you are not watching the Pacer game live and I didn't get to watch it and I spoiled it for you, I am completely sorry. But
Listen,
I am a Pacers fan
this is getting
diehard.
posted on Thursday, so if they haven't watched it by then, they're not watching it. Um, I forgot to. So our next division is the NFC East. This one is going to be where we get a big reaction out of you. So, do you want me to go first, or you want me to go for, or who's
Go
going
ahead
first?
and say that you have the boys at 4 in the division because you don't trust the Cowboys.
I have the
So
Cowboys at number 4 in the division. So before I say their actual record, their over under is 8.5, and I'm hammering the under.
when
The
Dak, I just wanted to say, when Dak Prescott plays, the boys don't win less than 10 games.
I don't care about Dak Prescott. Um, Now I, looking at the record that I have, I don't think it's realistic. I think it's far from realistic. But the record I have is 1-16.
You might be losing viewers.
Yeah, well, 1-16 for them boys. I'm not.
Yeah,
A,
that
I'm
ain't
not.
happening.
I'm not. I don't think it's gonna happen. The only one that I think is actually realistic of being that bad is the Browns. I think the Browns may lose every game this year. I think it's a dumpster fire. But the
The
thing with the
Cowboys
Cowboys
will win.
is I just don't trust them.
Cowboys will win. Cowboys will win 3 games out of the first 5 games. So that
Let me scroll. I see. I did say. Oh wait, no. I just got the AFC teams. Dang it. To the NFC. Yeah. I had to
that'll
work.
happen there.
Yeah. I just don't trust the Cowboys. I really don't. Don't trust much about them. I don't think they're gonna win one game. I think that's kind of insane. But I don't think they win 8. Their division got better.
My fourth seed is the Giants, and if
Makes
you
sense.
have the Giants over the Cowboys, it's just insane. I have the Giants going 3-14. Jackson Dart doesn't make an appearance until week 10,
Mm.
and then I believe they win 2 games out of that, and they go one. They're sitting at 1-8 just because of how tough their schedule is. I believe the Giants have the toughest schedule in the NFL this season, and they have the toughest 8 game start I've seen in a long, long time. Um, it's hard for me to say, just because I am a Tyrone Tracy fan, so I
Mm.
have to be somewhat of a Giants fan, but um, they just 5.5 wins seems a crazy line that I'm not touching because they could exceed and do well,
Yeah.
or they could do what we all think they're going to do and be a dumpster fire.
But we also have to think Russell Wilson's their starting quarterback right now. That's better than
He
last
can
year with Daniel Jones.
he can win games.
He can win games. He did it with the Steelers. They got Malik Neighbors. They got Tyrone Tracy. Um,
Speaking of Daniel
Darius
Jones,
Slayton.
did you see where Daniel Jones was last night?
No, where's he at?
He was at a bar having a good old time in the state of Indiana and Indianapolis,
I figured
bringing in
he's the Colts
the
quarterback.
well, not necessarily yesterday, but a Sunday. He was having a good old Indy 500 day, and a lot of reports said that he didn't really do that in New York. He didn't really. There was only one time that he necessarily had a good outing where he went out and had fun like that, and it was at a Zach Bryan concert. Everywhere else, Daniel Jones kind of kept to himself. So we have a we have a here in the state of Indiana, we have a unfiltered Daniel Jones. So
You know what
that's
that
a little
means?
fun.
Absolutely nothing. He still stinks at football. Coming in at number 3 in the division, we've got the Giants. I also have them at 3-14. I don't think they're going to win very many games. But, like I just said, they do still have Russell Wilson. As much as I don't believe in Russell Wilson, it's gonna be it's there. He raises the floor by at least a couple wins. I think 5.5 is scary. Has Russell Wilson ever not won 5 games?
No, he has.
Really?
So he's always been on a winning team. I believe his rookie year they won more than 8 games. Um, he won a lot of games last year for the Steelers. Granted, they were already 4-2 when he took
And
over.
even when he was on
Um,
the Broncos,
they
yeah,
won 8 games, I believe.
the worst he okay. No, the 4 games. They won 4 games when he was on the Broncos the first season with Nathaniel Hackett. But you know who's a better coach than Nathan Hackett? Brian Dayball.
Oh,
You say who'd you say?
Sean Payton.
Oh, well, yeah, Sean Payton too, but Brian Dable is also a better leader or a better coach. But I mean, either way, the Giants aren't making any real big moves, and Jackson Dart could be the starter. I expect to see
He'll
Brian
be the starter.
Dable and Joe Shane off the Giants next year.
Both fired.
They did, however, make really good entertainment in Hard Knocks 2 seasons ago. When those episodes dropped, like the actual legitimate off-season Hard Knocks,
They're
when
dropping
those
good seasons this year too.
when those episodes dropped, it was like crack for me. I was watching them over, not over and over, but like I was binge watching them. I was treating it like Stranger Things, dude. I was watching all of them in a row. I needed it in my veins, just injected. It was good. It was really good. I don't care if they sucked. I understand that it was a lot of the process, and teams don't like that. I loved it. I loved it. Um, who's your number two? The Commanders.
Cowboys.
Oh, wait.
Well, my number three. I haven't even said my number three yet.
Oh, sorry.
My number three are the Commanders at 10-7.
Whoa.
Uh, and they go 4-2, 7-5. I think they take a little bit step back than what they did last year, as in playoff, because they were playing with nothing to play for. They were just out there
Ballin'.
balling. They did get better, but when you get better, becomes more of an expectation. So 10-7 seems like a good number for me for the Commanders. Their line is 10.5. I'm staying away from that
Yep.
is all gets out of. But they do get in the playoffs. They squeeze in. They get the 7 seed. For me, with the Commanders. My 2 seed is the Cowboys. They go 11-6. Every season Dak Prescott plays and he stays healthy, the Cowboys don't win less than 10 games, I believe. So 4-2 on the conference, and 8-4 in the conference, 4-2 in the division. Boys go 11-6 and get a playoff berth.
Yeah. So with the Commanders, I have them also going 10-7, but at number two in the division. I just what scares me with them is they're old. Like it's an older team
Yeah,
because they have a
yeah.
lot of 1 year, 2 year extensions, what have you. Like Austin Eckler's still on the team. Debo Samuel, old.
He's not old.
He's old.
No.
Laramie Tunsil, old. Zach
He's
Ertz,
starting his
old.
career.
Who else? Bobby Wagner, old. Will Harris. Is that the Will Harris from the Raiders? No, that's Eric Harris. Whew. Okay, they're safe. I thought that was Eric Harris starting at safety for them. I was very worried. I was about to say they're fourth in division, but yeah, like I agree with Dak. 10-7. I'm staying away from that line. It's scary. Me no likey. Obviously we both have the Eagles at top of the division. I have them going 15-2.
I
And
got him going 13-4.
yeah, so I think it's a pretty safe over for that line,
11 and
unless
a half.
yeah, 11.5 over under.
Hammer that over.
Unless
They're
Saquon Barkley, AJ Brown, and Jalen Hurts all tear their ACLs, I think we're fine.
I mean, if Saquon gets hurt, I believe they can probably still win 11 games,
Yeah.
and is out for the season. But they're running into the preseason and the regular season going, let's go. Tush push is still here, 1st and 9, every single down. So it helps them. They're going to be running on Saquon's shoulders the whole year,
Mm-hmm.
because why not? Dude's one of the best running backs in the league, and he's a magician with the football. So I have the Eagles going 13-4, hammering the over. I believe they are the second or the third seed in the NFC because we're going to get to who I think the number one seed is here in a minute.
I'm worried. But yeah, I have them going 15-2 and being the number one seed because I'm not delusional. The NFC West is what we have next. Who is your fourth team in the NFC West?
Cardinals.
The Cardinals.
7-10.
Oh wow.
Cardinals
Okay.
going 7-10, 2-4 in the division, 6-6. I don't think they did much this offseason to get better. I feel like the Cardinals are a team that just stays a little below average every single year. And Marvin Harrison, his career is going to get kind of ruined just like Larry Fitzgerald did because he stays on the Cardinals his whole career. Yes, they had a good year, but I don't think the Cardinals have that potential to have one of those good years like they did before with Larry Fitzgerald making a Super Bowl.
See, we'll get to what I think in a minute for the Cardinals because they're not my fourth team. The Seahawks are my fourth team at 5-12 because they got worse. Offensive line still not great. Gray Zabel was an ad; he's going to be good, but he can't play every position on the line. Like you need 5 of him. They don't have 5 of him. They have 1. Poor guy. They lost DK Metcalf. Actually, they shipped him off. What did they add? Not
Cooper Kupp.
Cooper Kupp, who is old and injury prone. I had him in numerous fantasy football leagues. When he's on the field, he's good. But is he on the field?
He's got a quarterback they can throw to as well.
Sam Darnold, worse than Geno Smith. You've heard it here first. I think he's worse than Geno Smith. And you know what? You know what he plays bad against or behind? Offensive lines that aren't good. You know what the Seahawks have? An offensive line that isn't good. You know who the Seahawks are in the same division as? 3 of the most brutal defensive lines in the league. The Rams, disgusting. The 49ers, disgusting. And the Cardinals just got a whole heck of a lot better this offseason. With Jonathan Gannon being their head coach, Sean McVay, who's their defensive coordinator? Why is it slipping my mind? Whatever, for the Rams.
Niners?
Not Rams. I know it's Robert Saleh. Robert Saleh for the Niners.
I don't remember who the D coordinator is for the Rams off the top of my head. My brain's wishy-washy as this game gets closer to the finish here. But as we're talking Seahawks, I have them going 9-8.
Chris Shula.
But, as I'm realizing, I don't know if the Seahawks can win 9 or 8.
I'm hammering the under.
They're under, I believe.
Over/under is 8.5. I'm hammering the under. I do not believe in Sam Darnold. I think he had one good season and he's going to fall off.
Again, it's another I don't know how this is going to play out. I don't know if Sam Darnold has rejuvenated his career and it was like, oh yeah, I can handle a little bit of pressure, guys, that we didn't see in the playoffs last year. So I don't know, but I know my top 2 teams in this division are going to be 2 of the top teams in the NFL.
Justin Jefferson to JSN is the massive fall off. That's all I'm going to say. My number 3 team, much to your dismay, is the 49ers at 9-8. I don't like. We've talked about it. They added plenty, but they always have injury problems, and I don't trust it. And quarterbacks either play up to their contract or they suck. And Brock Purdy did not have a great year last year. Let's not lie to ourselves.
He was injured.
Okay, that could come into this year without Christian McCaffrey.
Nobody to throw to. Nobody to throw to.
And did they add anybody this offseason? No, thank you. Ricky Pearsall got shot last year. He hasn't really played football. Jawan Jennings was good.
Pause. Ricky Pearsall was playing week 4 or week 5 last year after being shot. He got 12 weeks under his belt. He's
okay.
Gonna be
okay.
Good at playing football.
Okay, let's go. Let's go look real quick.
Jawan Jennings.
Jawan Jennings was solid. Yeah, he did. He sure did.
Ayuk tore his ACL week 3 or week 4. He'll be back.
Okay, you want to run that? So now I'm going to fact check you because I have the internet at my fingertips. Ricky Pearsall played in 11 games, started in 4, had 400 yards, 3 touchdowns.
games. He still played football. That's more than half the season after being shot.
And you know what?
I mean,
It's still not going to be enough. 49ers are going 9-8.
not happening.
The
They'll still be
second
a winning
team,
record to make the playoffs.
the second team in this division is the Cardinals going 12-5. I think this year the Cardinals finally take it. They finally get over the hump. They finally get past average, and they go 12-5. Marvin Harrison Jr. is jacked. He's ready for the NFL this year. Like he's got a taste of it. Now he's going for it. Kyler Murray. Let's just hope Call of Duty doesn't come out and see if he can finish out a season fully. James Conner, always consistent. If he's on the field, he's getting a touchdown at least.
Touchdown.
Exactly.
Sometime.
Their offensive line is solid. It's nothing great. It's going to protect you for a little bit. But the defense is the story. They added Josh Sweat, Walter Nolan, Dalvin Tomlinson. Who else did they add? Will Johnson. Those are 4 quality starters for what we expect. Will Johnson is now their number 1 corner, depending on which side you're looking at. Will Johnson only fell because, his ankle, I think, and he's a little slow. But you know what? He's also 6'4". You don't have to be that fast if you're a 6'4" corner. Josh Sweat, Walter Nolan, and Dalvin Tomlinson is a terrifying defensive line with a defensive head coach. I'm going to stick it out for my brother here, who's a Cardinals fan. He's going to have to get off my back for being a Raiders fan and always talking about the Raiders. But hey, I think the Cardinals, I'm hammering the over on 8.5. Easily. Happily.
Yeah. Nah. Rams go 10-7 or 2 for me in the division.
There's no way you have your Niners winning the division.
The Rams go 10-7, 2-4 in the division because the division's pretty tough. They go 6-6 in the conference. But again, the Rams are going to be a playoff team because they're just always a playoff team. Sean McVay doesn't miss the playoffs. They got Devontae Adams is about to have a crazy, insane year because I think he's going to put up Megatron type numbers because he has a quarterback that likes to fit a window for one receiver, maybe 2 receivers. So they got better. I believe this offseason they got rid of a Cooper Kupp. But again, my number 1 seed, obviously, through process of elimination, is the San Francisco 49ers going 13-4.
No.
And the number 1 seed in the NFC. They have the easiest schedule in the NFL.
I also have the Rams going 13-4, but also at the top of the division. 10.5 is their over/under win total, and I feel like that's a pretty easy over. I will say, I think you're crazy having the 49ers win this division. You can say I'm a delusional Raiders fan all you want. I still had them 3rd in the division. You have them winning their division after having a top.
You got to think.
Their top 10 pick? Top 10?
No,
top 15.
The reason the 49ers blew it up this offseason, got younger, but not only got younger, they got smarter. And they had one of the biggest letdowns last year with non-healthy guys just not being able to play. Health isn't really going to be as a concern now that you got younger. You had guys that were on the ends of their careers, that were still kind of in their prime, but in the end of their primes, trying to play. You have Robert Saleh back, who Fred Warner loves. Fred Warner is going to lead the league in tackles this year if can stay healthy, which, again, Fred Warner, Trent Williams, those 2 guys are big pieces that have to stay healthy that I'm worried about. Everything else, not really worried about. I think it's going to work themselves out. And I think the Niners, again, have the easiest schedule to play with. They will sweep the Cardinals. They will probably split with the Seahawks and split with the Rams and go 4-2 in the division and lead that division from games there. Everything else, they don't play very many guys. They don't play very many hard teams this year. They have one of the easiest schedules. There's no reason the 49ers aren't winning more than 10 games this year because of the schedule that they have. And Brock Purdy's going to prove why he's getting all this money. He's going to prove it.
You better hope.
He's He's proved everyone wrong his whole entire career. Why stop now? Why stop now?
Because
First time he gets to play, you know who he's going up against? He's going up against Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. And you know what they do? They mollywop them. Purdy's been doing it his whole career. When healthy, Brock Purdy is a top 15, top 10 quarterback in the NFL. He's a game manager. Even if you have to run the ball 20 times a game, he's going to make sure you're hitting the right run. He's going to make sure you're checking to the right read, the right hole, the right gap. Brock Purdy is a top 10 quarterback in the league when healthy. Last year, he was dealing with a shoulder injury, I believe 6 to 7 weeks. His whole entire game plan throughout OTAs, throughout everything, was washed. Brandon Ayuk on a holdout. We didn't know if he was going to play. His third receiver, if not fourth receiver going in the year, was shot. You have Chris Fleming, can't remember his name. He was like wide receiver 5, wide receiver 6 playing. You had he's a punt returner, came out of Michigan. Lining
Jacob,
up in
you're
the
talking about
slot a
Jacob
lot of
Cowing?
times. No. Who's he's a Michigan receiver.
Don't ask me.
I'm gonna look it up here. Again, he had drop problems.
All I'm
Last year.
saying,
There was a lot of times on third downs where he just dropped the football. So I believe it's Roman Wilson.
Roman Wilson's on the Steelers.
I know, but I believe he was on the Niners last year.
Nope, Roman Wilson was a rookie last year. Got drafted by the Steelers. Anyways, Christian McCaffrey can't stay healthy. Brandon Ayuk tore his ACL and is expected to come back mid-season this year. Jawan Jennings, I don't think he has the capacity to hold up like he did last year. Ricky Pearsall is a TBD. I would love for Christian McCaffrey to hold up, but I don't think he can. And then the defense is probably rejuvenated, but there's a whole lot of people on this list that I don't know. I have never heard these names in my life. Jair Brown? Malik Mustafa is their free safety? Who are their safeties? Your guys' secondary has always been the weak part, but like...
When you have a defensive line and a front seven, it's always one of the best front sevens in the league every year. You'd be all right.
We'll see, but I'm not buying the Kool-Aid you're selling. Let's get to the weakest division in the NFL and seal this episode off. I'll start. The NFC South. The Panthers are going 2-15. I've said it numerous times. I don't know if this is actually how it's going to go, but I don't think they're going to be very good. I managed to forget their lines. Forget to write. Hold on. Actually, I got my notepad. I put it on my notepad. I'm a professional. Okay. Panthers line is 6.5. I don't think I like that line. But also being in the weakest division in football. Being in the weakest division in football really helps those odds. I don't like this division at all. I think it's really weak, as we've mentioned numerous times. And I don't really know what they added. I think this is a make or break year for Bryce Young. Obviously, that's like a duh moment, but I mean...
Ronnie Bell. 49ers receiver that was costing them football games last year. He is no longer on the team.
Yeah, I couldn't find anybody like that, but... So yeah, the Panthers 2-15. I don't think they'll be that bad. They'll win at least 4 games, but I don't like their line of 6.5. That scares me because they could either suck. It really depends on how their receivers. What's the word I'm looking for? Grow this offseason, I guess. Develop. That's the word.
Xavier Legette is going to have a monster year this year.
He's going to need to.
But anyways, I have the Saints going 2-15. It is a full blow it up year this year.
It's gonna
And
have to
Tyler
be.
Shuck will be
Poor guy.
he's getting replaced next year by another quarterback. They are
Archie
tanking for a
Manning.
quarterback. And it'll be full circle moment there as Eli and Peyton's dad played for the Saints. So 2-15, 0-6, 0-12 in the conference, blow it all up. They don't know who their quarterback
Oh my
is.
goodness.
Not really any receivers to throw to. They can't stay on the field. Can't stop getting concussions. Yeah, self-explanatory. I have the Panthers going 5-12 at 3. They're over, like you said, a 6.5. I do think they get better. I did see a little interesting thing that says that the Panthers could make the Super Bowl. So
Yeah, I
I don't
totally
know.
forgot. They're going to the Super Bowl not because of all that other crap, but because they signed the goat Hunter Renfro. My guy Hunter Renfro is back in football, baby. I will be watching Carolina Panthers games because the goat is back. He's like sixth on their depth chart, but he'll be running. He'll be their starting slot receiver by week 6. They have two of the best wide receivers in football in Adam Thielen and Hunter Renfro.
Yeah.
I forgot they drafted Tet too, so their receivers are looking nice, but Hunter Renfro should be starting. Until he's starting, the Panthers are losing every game. Their defense also got better, but their defense is still up in
It's
the air
just
too.
it's
It's
like
just scary.
they're like the Raiders for me. They're just not there yet. They're not there yet.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
got better, but they're just not there yet.
Then we got so my number 3 team is also the Saints. Also at 2-15. That one I think is more realistic. Um, I don't
Yeah.
I don't like what they've done or what they haven't done. They haven't done a lot. Um, they lost MVS, so their receivers are now Rashid Shaheed, who was it tore his ACL or broke his leg?
Broke his leg.
Yeah, because I traded for him in fantasy football when him and Derek Carr were going crazy, and then he broke his leg.
Yeah,
So
Chris
we don't know
Olave
when he's coming
cannot stay
back.
healthy.
Yeah, Chris Olave can't stay healthy.
Yes,
Um,
they've stopped taking concussions and taking monster hits.
yeah. I just not buying into the Saints. Kellen Moore is also a first year head coach. I don't love that either, especially not with that roster. There's too many. Oh, they brought in Brandon Cooks. That's who it was.
They drafted him.
Yeah, he's finally back. Yeah, the only bright spot on this offense is Alvin Kamara. I am interested to see how Tyler Shuck looks as a rookie. He was one of the guys I was looking at for a Raiders draft. Um, and then to the defense just didn't really do anything except for add Justin Reed. And he's good, but I don't know if that's enough. It really just depends on what Brandon Staley, who they brought in for the defensive coordinator job, does. It's going to be interesting. Really interesting for the Saints. I don't think they're going to hit their over under. Their win is 5.5.
I'm
Again,
not hitting that.
I'm staying away
I'm
from.
hammering that under.
I'm staying
I'm hammering
away
the under.
from
The
all of the lines
Saints are the
in this NFC
Saints
South.
Saints are the worst team in football this year.
No,
Yes.
the Browns.
Yes.
The Browns.
Saints and Browns will be having a tank off, but then the Browns will pull back and realizing they don't really need quarterback.
The Browns are the worst team in football. Anyways, number 2, the Falcons. I have them going 5 and
Correct.
12. I
6-11
don't
year.
know how Michael Penix will do. Kyle Pitts may show up. They're they put a lot of pressure on their edge rushers, the rookies. So we'll see how they do. Their defense did get
Younger,
better.
got better.
Did get better.
Their offense, their offense
Stayed
has
the
a lot of
same.
firepower,
But
but
Bijan Robinson's quite a bit. Drake London's solid. Darnell
it
Mooney.
wouldn't surprise me. I wouldn't be surprised if the Falcons somehow win 8 or 9 games this year,
Yeah.
and exceed everyone's expectations just because of the firepower that they do have in some
Mm-hmm.
places. But if I'm being realistic, the Falcons win 5 or 6 games. That's where they're going to be at.
I wouldn't. It wouldn't surprise me if they won the division, but that's because it's the NFC South.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
it's it's the Wild West out there. Like, oh look, somebody made it out of the desert. That's really what it comes down to.
And they
Because
get a 4 seed in the playoffs in a home game and somehow win it because they're a home seed.
yeah, so sealing off the NFC South, I have the spectacular Tampa Bay Buccaneers going 9-8.
Yeah, me too.
They're a solid team, but I don't know what's going on with them. Really, um, they have a really should be a really good offense,
Yeah,
but they win 9 games. Seems like almost every year, if I'm not mistaken.
it's what's funny is somehow they lose a game in the conference
Yep.
and they'll go 5-1 in the conference, and then they go 4-12 the rest of the season,
Yep.
or however many games are left. Uh,
So
4-7.
they went 9-8 and 10-7 in the last 2 years. So since Tom Brady retired, 9-8 and 10-7.
I mean, they're still having winning seasons, but you got to think
Somebody's got to
why.
win. Somebody has to have a winning season in that division, and it's gonna be the Buccaneers. Their over under is 9.5. I'm not touching that. That's scary. I think they could,
That's another one.
because Baker proved to be good last year.
Yeah, he proved.
Didn't he throw 50 touchdowns?
Um, he proved to everyone that he was worth it, and the Browns again messed up.
Oh,
But
he
who
threw
the Browns?
41 touchdowns, 4,500 yards, and 16 interceptions. And then Bucky Irving's a great. He's a top 10, top 7 running back in the league. Mike Evans is always good. He's one of my few players that I'm confident in pounding the over for 1,000 yards
He's getting
every
1,000
year,
receiving yards.
even when he's hurt. It's crazy. Chris Godwin, we'll see what happens with his ankle. Jalen McMillan popped off last year. Oh, excuse me.
Yeah,
It's really not their offense we're worried about. It's their defense, which is so weird because Todd Bowles is a defensive head coach. It's just they just get hurt and they don't have depth on their roster. Because looking at it right now, Logan Hall is their starting defensive end. Vita Vea is their nose tackle. Vita Vea is a dog. Kalijah Cansey's defensive end. Yaya Diaby, Will linebacker. Anthony Walker, left inside. Levante David, good, but he's old. Hassan Reddick's on the team now. I didn't know that. We'll see if he wants to
yeah.
play
Well,
football.
he's skipping OTAs right now.
Is
So
he actually? Again?
yeah, yeah, he's skipping OTAs.
And then
He's got there.
I just Zion McCollum, Jamel Dean, and Tyke Smith are their corners. There's too much that I don't know with this team.
Yeah, that's the whole division.
It really is. It hurts me because, like, Levante David deserves. Well, he already won a Super
You
Bowl.
don't have a reason to be loving this division anymore. Derek Carr's retired.
It's true. Yeah, I don't care about the NFC South. So yeah, let's do a quick little recap here. NFC North. I had the Lions 11-6, Bears 11-6, Vikings is 12-5, Packers 12-5. Your turn.
My NFC North 13-4 the Lions, 12-5 Packers, 7-10 Vikings, and 5-12 Chicago Bears.
And then the NFC East, Cowboys 1-16. Again, I don't think they're actually only going to win one game. That's insane. They're the Cowboys. Jerry will throw money at the refs if he has to. The Giants 3-14, Commanders 10-7, and the Eagles 15-2.
Giants 3-14, Commanders 10-7, Cowboys 11-6, and the Eagles 13-4.
NFC West, the crazy division for us. Seahawks 5-12, 49ers 9-8, Cardinals 12-5, Rams 13-4. They do have two over unders that I will be hammering, and that will three actually. Over for the Rams, over for the Cardinals, and under for the Seahawks.
Yeah, well,
Unless that defense, I don't know.
49ers are going to prove you wrong. 49ers are going to prove you wrong.
Regardless, I'm staying away from their over under.
Seahawks 9-8. Rams 10-7, and the Niners at 13-4.
And then the last and the least, literally the least, we have the Panthers 2-15, Saints 2-15, Falcons 5-12, and Buccaneers 9-8. Worst division in football. But who cares when you get all that nice weather?
Hurricanes. Someone's getting hit with a hurricane.
Yeah, happens every year. Are you gonna give your NFC South? Doesn't really matter. They suck. All right.
Yeah, my fault. 2-15.
He's distracted
Saints,
with the Pacers.
5-12 Panthers, 6-11 Falcons, and 9-8 the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Oh man. So let's put a bow on this. The NFC is going to be fun. The NFL season is going to be fun. Are we still 100 days away? Is that today or was that yesterday?
I know it was 100 days from college football yesterday or a few days ago, but I don't know about
I saw. Well, by the time this drops, we're less than 100 days from the NFL season starting. And now we have our record predictions off-season wise released. So, this is fun.
These will change. Again, these will change.
So that puts a bow on our NFC record predictions per team, per division, in the off season, of course. Keep your eye out for next week's episode. I don't have any idea what we'll be doing next week, so I'll put a little poll in our community tab with 3 possible videos and then a insert here option for your own, if you have your own opinion, and then we will actually use it this week because every other week we've just come up with something. Without further ado, let us know what you think in the comments below. Make sure you like, subscribe, and tell your friends that at the TD Podcast, we know ball. See you guys next week. Don't forget, we had 2 episodes this week. Go watch the other one. We know ball.